All right, welcome back to another episode of Become a Calm Mama. I am Darlene, and I'm your host. And I'm really excited. Today, we're going to talk about your relationship with your home. And I have a really special guest named Robyn Reynolds, who is a certified professional organizer. And she is going to talk to us all about how to take really good care of our house so that we can take good care of ourselves and our mind and our kids and all of that. We spend a lot of time in our homes, especially when you have small kids. You're home a lot with them. And if we're finding ourselves in a negative relationship with our house, then we might not feel fantastic about being at home. And so I want to give Robyn a chance to introduce herself. And we're just going to get right into talking about the struggles that we have in organizing, why it's important. And then Robyn's going to give us some really great tips on how to do that. So welcome to the podcast, Robyn. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be fun.
It's going to be great. So just briefly tell us a little bit about yourself, like your background. What does it mean to be a professional organizer? Like, how'd you get into it? Just a little bit.
Okay. So my company is Organized to Harmonize. I started in 2008. I had no idea that organizing was ever a thing. I didn't know anybody that did it, never heard the term. But it was something that I've always done myself. It's just how I'm wired. And I was reading a magazine one day and I found out about the National Association. And I was like, oh my goodness, I could actually do that for a living. So I joined the association, kind of figured out how to start a business. And here we are all these many years, going on 15 years later.
Yeah.
And over time, I became a certified professional organizer also.
Nice. Yeah. So I brought you on because my audience is moms. And I wondered if you wanted to share kind of what you see are the things that are either the hardest to organize or what the struggles are. Like, what are your thoughts around families?
First, let me say that we are an abundant society. We get way more than we get rid of. What I hear continuously from my clients is when we go through stuff, it was like, oh, the in-laws gave this to me. My mother-in-law. The mother-in-law gets blamed for everything. I always say cut down on the number of toys. Now,
yeah. Well, let's talk about that abundance, because I think there's two things you talked about there of we get more than we get rid of. Yes. However you phrase that was so great. And exactly. It's true. We have a lot of stuff. And then there's the emotional attachment maybe, or like, oh, my mother-in-law or my mom gave me this, or my sister or my best friend, or we sometimes sort of feel bad possibly about moving things along. And I wondered if you could speak to that. That's like an obstacle, I think, that happens for us, is like maybe emotional attachment to things.
Well, the thing that I always say is that organizing is more than fitting a round peg in a square hole, because there is such a huge psychological component to it. And like you said, people have a hard time letting go of things. And a lot of times they just need the permission from a neutral third party to say it's okay. And once somebody gives you something, it is yours to do what you want with it. Because let's say it was a pony and you don't have the space or wherewithal to have a pony. You're going to find that pony a home, regardless of who gave it to you. I mean, obviously I'm kidding, and that's an extreme. But
well, it's a good example, actually, because there are things that we might receive from people that just don't work for us.
Right.
With our value system, or the type of toy maybe that we're given, or maybe our child already has many of those items, or we don't want them to have that kind of doll, or whatever it is. Maybe they give you a toy gun and you're like, I don't want to have things like this around my house. It sounds like you're saying it's kind of okay to maybe say thank you and move it along. Right?
Yeah, because it is now, when somebody gives you something, it is yours. Think of it in any way, even if it was something that you liked. The flip side of that is when you talk about kids, once they get to be school age, that's when the real clutter starts. Because the number of things that come home from school, whether it's preschool or whether it's elementary school. I mean, that's where the majority of it is, between the art projects and the paperwork. I have clients that they want to keep every single paper that their kid wrote because it has their cute little handwriting, and, or every little thing that they draw. And I can guarantee there is not a person on the planet that is going to say, give me all my elementary school artwork to put in their college dorm or their first apartment. I can pretty much guarantee that one. However, what I like to do, and what I've done for my own child and for clients, is you pick the best of the best. Because let's face it, they're not Picasso, so it's just cute, and that's just about it. But there are nicer pieces that you like. So you can collect those nicer pieces from preschool to elementary, whether that ends at 5th or 6th grade for you. I take pictures of the art, and then I actually create a photo book of it. So now it can sit as a coffee table book. You get to actually enjoy it instead of it sitting in the bin in the garage or up in a closet somewhere where you're never going to look at it. And then you can let those pieces go. Now I have a coffee table book, whether she wants it later on, or, me when I'm in my rocking chair on the porch when I'm 90 and want to reminisce, I can do that.
Oh, that's so great. So would you say that the suggestion would be to take those photos as the artwork comes through, or take the pictures of the things and maybe organize it on your phone somewhere, or I don't know, like in a folder or something like that, and not keep it around, or wait, okay, we're going to keep this in a box. This is the stuff till 6th grade. Then I'm going to go through it. I'm going to take pictures, and then I'm going to make this book. Like we're brass tacks here.
Where it depends on the person really, and who you are as a person. Because if you're that organized that you can actually put it into folders in the computer on the phone where you can find it in 6 years, no, seriously, because if you put it in the phone and not do anything with it, then it's going to be really hard to find it when it's time to go make that photo book.
For sure.
So if you can do it as it comes in, great. Otherwise, I would say keep the nicer ones in a bin, which is what I had done. I just kept them all together, or put an art portfolio, one of those art things that you would put actual artwork in. And then when you're ready to make the book, then you can take all the pictures, discard the art, and create the photo book that way.
Yeah. Okay, great. So that's dealing with all of that, like school papers and like the projects and the different things. And some of them are actually like large, right? Like if you make the mission, or
oh God,
something like that, then, you really don't want to keep that around. You're going to want to have a photo of it.
And the solar system and all these other things.
Yeah. Because some of them are projects, like actually, larger.
Yes.
So that seems like a good strategy of just maybe per kid, you have a plastic bin that where it goes in the garage or in a closet or something like that. And as the stuff comes through, it's like, do I keep this? Do I not? Maybe you put it up for a day or for a week or whatever. And then you're like, is this worthy of the box or the,
Is it worthy of going in the book? Should we preserve this memory for a lifetime?
Yes. And then making those decisions. So that seems like,
and one box for each child if you have more than one child.
Yeah. And then just kind of keeping that stuff. Cause that kind of clutter can definitely be around.
Yes.
So what do you think about, like, what are the benefits of, like, we just gave this example of not having, random school and artwork around your house, and, having it have a designated space. What are the emotional or mental benefits of organizing? What do you see for your clients? Like, what are they struggling with when they come to you? And then how does this help them?
Well, first and foremost, a cluttered space is a cluttered mind. It equals a cluttered mind. It's hard to really focus and do what you actually need to do when there's all this distraction all around you. So when you clear it up, you actually make a space mentally to be able to do what's actually important and to focus on what's important, whatever that may be for you. And then in addition, one, you're not, there's less, let's say, there's more family harmony
Mm.
because you're not, yelling or nagging this person to pick up this, or you're not, fussing with this one because they won't, they put something that you don't know where it is.
Yeah, you can't find
You know,
something. Right.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. You're also saving money because the whole point of organizing is for everything to have a home,
Mhm.
quote unquote home. It needs to live somewhere. When you use it, it needs to go back into that space.
Mhm.
So when that happens, everyone will know where that item is. So you're not looking for the screwdriver because now it's in Joey's underneath his bed because he used it to fix a toy.
Mhm.
You know exactly where it is. So you're not buying another one. So you're saving money
Yeah,
because
and I think as a mom, like saving time as well to for for your kids to go find things, right? Like, mom, I need um paper for this project, or I need construction paper, I need crayons, and then you're going around your house looking for something.
exactly.
That's just so draining. So
Yes.
if they know where something is, or you can say, oh, it's in the cupboard here or on my desk, or
Right.
that
Exactly. No,
is.
because a lot of times, depending on what your house is like, there may be
Mhm.
a drawer, say in the kitchen or something, that has all those kind of, that's lower so the little ones can reach it,
Yeah.
but that has all that kind of stuff in it. So
Mhm.
it's the kid drawer, whether it's their coloring books, their crayons, their pencils for school, whatever they need, because now they know where it is.
Yeah.
They know where to put it back when they're done with it,
Mhm.
and that they don't have to constantly, because everybody goes to mom for everything. Mom is the
Yes.
the
Yes.
be all to end all, like, no,
Mhm.
like, as if no one else in the house knows anything,
Yeah.
which is true. Moms are great,
Yes.
but everybody goes to mom, and it's draining on moms.
It is
So to
so
be able
draining.
so to be able to have the kids go and get things for themselves just makes everything so much easier, and it takes a load off of the mom so that they don't have to, or the dad,
Mhm.
whatever the family dynamic is. But you don't want to, it'll just let you kind of breathe a little bit easier.
Yeah. Yes, I love that. I wonder if you could speak to, sometimes I have clients who know they have a lot of mess, like they can't figure out how to start. Kind of like that's their style a little bit. They're not super type A or whatever. They're
Right.
kind of like things to be a little more casual. And then it snowballs a bit, and now they've got piles and everywhere, right? Piles of kids' clothes, and they've got piles of artwork, and they've got bills around, and it's not like dirty, it's just sort of messy, and then
Right.
the overwhelm kicks in. And I wonder if you could speak to kind of how to start if you're in that place.
Well, part of that is not having systems in place for doing things.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of families, especially when there's a lot of, or a lot, I mean, two or three kids,
Hmm.
which makes for a family of four or five. So that
Hmm.
is a lot. When you're talking about laundry, you know,
Hmm.
it piles up every day, because there could be the clothes to wear to school and work. Then you have the sports clothes. Then the summer, kids are changing multiple times a day or whatever. And especially if they're more toddlers, they get dirty. So you
Hmm.
might change their clothes often. So,
Well,
point,
the systems is really important, like a laundry system, or
yes,
yeah. So we
yeah,
start with the system itself, it sounds like
yes. So you would
what, let's
create,
just name off some of them, because I think it'll be helpful for our listeners. Like, you've
well,
got systems
okay,
for laundry. What else do you think you have systems for? Like,
you have to have a system for everything.
I know, but let's name a few.
But when I say everything, it also goes back to where things are going to live,
Hmm.
where they have a home. So once you designate an area for something, that's the first system. Whether it's for the school supplies, or whether it's the toys, whether it's the, you know, certain snacks, whatever it is, that's the system. Then the
Okay,
next
that's
part
where
of
we
it,
start. Let's just slow that down for a second. So we start with where things are going to live.
right? Where do they actually belong?
That is such a good question, actually, because I think it can be. I think sometimes we think we know, but then when
Right.
you're actually asked, like, where do school supplies go? I was like, oh, well, like, I kept some in this place and some in this place. And
Exactly.
in this drawer, I keep some scissors, but over here, I keep. So, or like, where do shoes go?
Right,
Well, it
because some people
depends.
don't wear shoes in the house. Some people come in through their garage and then keep them in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Some people come in the front door and want to, have a closet at the front door where they keep them.
Yeah.
So all of those things, and it depends on how you personally live.
Yeah.
There's no one blanket system for anything. It's how you personally live, because what
Mm-hmm.
works for you, darling, may not work for me. And then after that, you have the systems, then it's, everybody on board. And I don't think anyone is ever too young. I mean, outside of an infant,
Mm-hmm.
but even a 2-year old can pick up after themselves, and you can say, okay, pick that toy up and go put it over there. So they get in
Mm-hmm.
the habit knowing that that's where that goes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so we need to
so
know where it goes first. Yeah.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So would you say if someone has a lot of overwhelm that you would say, let's just start with one system, like let's start with laundry, let's get that handled, or
Yes.
let's start with paperwork, or let's start with toys,
Yes.
something like that.
I tell clients that even bringing in the mail, it's full of junk mail.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately just throw that away.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that you quote unquote need are the bills,
Mm-hmm.
and anything, any cards or anything personal that comes, which is usually not that much. And speaking of stuff coming in, I always like to put things that need to go out, whatever that may be, whether they're the reusable grocery bags,
Mm-hmm.
the backpacks for the next day, or whatever, by the door where you come in and out of, because that
Mm-hmm.
way you can just grab it and take it out the next time you go. If you leave it anywhere else, it's going to have a harder time actually getting out of the house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So by putting it where you have to exit, it's a reminder that, oh, let me take it out.
Well, I was going to share, this is a hack that I used that people always thought was kind of odd, but I kept my kids' socks near the door, not just their shoes. And we have a 2-story home, and the boys would get ready in the mornings before school upstairs, and then they would come down and eat and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and get themselves organized. And it would not work for me to have them go back up to get socks, or I would kept the socks also near the shoes. And whenever we do the laundry, I would just put their socks away, and they were the same size essentially. So they just had the same socks. And it made a huge difference in our life, because kind of what you're saying is like things by the door, things that you need to have access to as you go in and out. Um, Keeping backpacks by the door as well, simple things like that. But most people put socks in the sock drawer, right? In the top drawer of your dresser or
Right.
whatever. And it was always funny that I would have them in a basket down by the shoes. And I did that for my own sanity.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be different for everyone, because if
Yeah.
I was working with you, I may say, we would have this conversation, and then you would explain to me exactly why you have that habit,
Yeah.
which is totally fine, because that works for you.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
going to say, no, darling, you can't do that. It has to go up in into the dresser. If that works for you, then so be it. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But you're the first person I've ever heard say that they keep socks by the front door.
One thing that I did about the abundance issue with my kids is that I would keep just the amount of shirts that they needed for a week plus one. So we had like 8 shirts, 8 pairs of shorts, 8 pairs of underwear, 8 pairs of socks, 1 pair of shoes, 1 sweatshirt. And it's very extreme in some ways, like I'm being a minimalist in that way. But I could not cope with the abundance. It was very overwhelming for me as
Mm-hmm.
a mom to have a lot of extra stuff. And it would be kind of odd, like if they lost their sweatshirt, they'd only have one, or like if their shoes were muddy, they'd only have 1 pair of shoes. And they also grew so fast that it was kind of
Yeah.
hard for me to keep them in shoes. Like we'd get a pair, and then it felt like I would get another pair so soon after. And it's now that they're teenagers, they're both kind of like do you think I could have like more pants than than just like, 6 pairs, or, could I have more t-shirts? I'm like, of course you can, express
Right,
yourself. But I just found like kind of what you're saying is like, it is okay to find systems that work for us, but we want to be honest about like what is overwhelming to me, and then doing that work of finding a solution and implementing it. It I think a lot of times we'll have frustration around an area in our life, and we won't necessarily stop and think like, how could I solve this? If there was a solution, what would I do? You
right.
know, how could I make this simpler? How could I make this work for me?
But let me speak on clothes for a second, because one thing that is big with especially elementary school kids is the hand-me-downs that people get over
Mm,
and over and over again.
mhm,
And even having same sex children of different ages, they
mhm.
keep clothes for the next child.
I did that too. Yes. And they were 2 years apart. And so having to store those clothes sometimes would be an issue.
Well, you only had 8 pairs, so that wasn't that
I
much.
did. I know. I was like, and probably by the time they were really well worn, there wasn't
Yeah, with
much to
eight
pack.
pairs, you probably should have just gotten rid of them instead of passing them down.
But there would be like a nice jacket or
Right.
sweatshirt or like, dress up clothes or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally get that. But oftentimes people are getting buckets and buckets of things from
Hmm.
friends, especially when somebody just has a baby.
Hmm.
And it could be, well, they're, pregnant and they're getting 4T clothing,
Yeah.
or 3T. One, you can say thank you, but I don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing, because again, it's the permission just because somebody's giving you. Or if you accept it, pick and choose what you would really like,
Mm-hmm.
and then give the rest away. Either
Mm-hmm.
hand it down to another friend or give it to charity. When you do save, I would say the same thing is true when you save for the next child, depending on the age difference between the kids, because yours are only 2 years apart,
Mm-hmm.
but there are sometimes people that have kids same sex that are 5 years apart. That's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of holding on to stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
depending on whether they're girls or boys, girls' styles change a whole lot more than boys.
Mm-hmm.
So, your girls, depending on the age, may not want to wear that, or they may be a different child. They may not want to wear all the dresses. They may be into just shorts
Mm-hmm.
and pants. So keep all these things in mind. It's not like you have to keep them.
Yeah, there are spaces, some spaces have more storage than other spaces. We kind of need to be honest with ourselves and like, how much space can I afford to give to this item? Like, it's a limited
Exactly.
resource.
I
And
call it valuable real estate. Like, that
yeah, yeah,
valuable real estate, that you
yeah.
need for something that you actually will use, and not something that you might need one day.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So we've given a lot of really great tips before. Like, I mean, tips, about if someone gives you a gift, that means it's ours and we can keep it or not keep it. I love that. Um, that everything
Don't
starts
feel
with
obligated.
systems, right? Everything starts with a system, having, um, a- and that means, where does it live? Right.
Right.
Deciding that first and then building the system around it, training our kids to like learn where things go so they can get them, makes our life easier, and put them away makes our life easier. Um, and then keeping things near the door is also one of the tips that we've given, like, things that go in and out, right? Like grocery bags and, shoes or
Or
uh
even things that you have to do with running errands.
yes,
You
yeah.
may have items to return. Put it by the door.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep it
Mm-hmm.
anywhere else, you're not going to remember to return it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I'm just thinking really like of the mom who's listening to this today, and she's like, I have not organized my kids' toys. It's a disaster. Our playroom is a mess. And I am overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. Like, yeah, I'm not doing it. Or I know what to do and I'm not doing it. What what would you say to her today?
it's hard to just say one thing
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know what is going through somebody's head
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
they're really that, because usually I don't work with somebody that is really that resistant, because
Yeah,
it's
they are like, I'm ready. I hired you. Let's do it.
right. I'm
Yeah.
here,
So what
you know.
does happen? Tell us. So because people right now are like, I think I'm ready. I would like Robyn to help me. And they want to have a phone call and they're like, I want to talk to her. I want to figure out how to organize my house. And
The interesting thing is people will ask me, let's say they want to do the house.
mm-hmm.
They'll ask me, well, where should we start? And I say, well, I
Yes.
don't live here. So what bugs you the most?
Okay. So that's a
Because
good
I
place
don't,
for people to realize like what bugs you the
right.
most.
And for
That's
some,
where we
they may
start.
work at home, so it might be their home office. For some,
Mm-hmm.
it might be the kitchen because they have to cook meals every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on the person, but it has to be your choice on where we start, not mine, because I don't live in the home.
Yeah. So that's such a great question for anyone listening is like, what part of your house is bugging you, as you say?
Yeah.
Where's the struggle currently? And what would bring you the most peace? If this was solved, if this was easier in your house,
Hmm.
you know, then you might feel a little bit better. And and that's how you would have everyone start is sort of like pick one project or one
Yeah.
area and work through that one and then go to the next one and go to the next one. So
Right.
it's not like when we say whole house, it's not the whole house. It's
Right.
still we're going
Well,
to
the
start here.
project may be the whole house,
The
but obviously
project, yeah.
you can't do it all at once. You
Yep.
have to start in one area.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
for people that want to try and do it on their own, I always say Rome wasn't built in a day. You have to start small. So literally pick one corner, one tabletop, one something to just start with that. Start clearing it off. If there's trash there, get rid of the trash. If there are things that don't belong there, say you're in the office, but there are dishes in there, put the dishes back in the kitchen where they belong.
Mhm.
Put the clothes or the toys back where they belong. So just start in one area. Do not, I cannot stress it enough, do not jump from room to room or area to area, because what will happen is you won't see anything changing, and then
Mhm.
you'll get defeated as if you're not doing anything. So you have to just start in one corner or one, say your desk. Do that, then move on to the whatever else is in that room. If there's a couch in the room full of stuff, move that, or work on that,
Mhm.
because the more that you accomplish in one room and you see the progress, it'll motivate you to keep going in that room and then going on to other rooms.
Yeah, because otherwise you're like halfway through a bunch of random projects and not
Yeah,
really
you just
seeing
don't
any.
see it. It's
Yeah.
mad. It's as if, you know, you were cooking and it's like, well, I'm going to mix all these ingredients for this cake, but then I'm going to mix the ingredients for the lasagna, and then, but nothing's finished. So you haven't actually accomplished anything and there's
Mhm.
still nothing to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, let's pick up takeout, you know?
Mhm. And we just wasted all that energy and time and money on all of the,
Exactly.
wasted resource. Yeah. So picking one area. Now you have some programs, people can work with you virtually and you have courses. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about those online courses. I think there's a lot of scrappy moms in my audience that do like DIY and um, they they're interested in like systems and keeping their homes organized and having more peace. So what are some of those courses that you offer?
So I just created a bunch. I'm always creating more, but I currently have a 30-day declutter and organize challenge.
Oh,
Declutter
wow.
your home in 30 days. I have a kitchen, one on kitchens. I can't remember the exact titles, but I
Yeah.
have increase your productivity with an organized office.
Ah.
I have staging for top dollar when you're selling your home. I have moving made easy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, closets. Have a celebrity closet.
Oh, okay. So the closets is really good because it manages the clothing, the
Yes.
laundry, kind of all those systems in there.
The thing is, when your closet is organized, you actually start your day making you feel so much better. You can see what you own.
Mhm.
It's easier to get dressed in the morning.
So everyone wants you to create the toy one. So that's your next task, the toy course or whatever, organizing your kids' crap or whatever.
Yes, that one is really, really hard because I know that is so important just working with clients, but it's so specific to what your home is like.
I know, like
Because some
really what
people
you're,
have a special, a playroom. Some
mhm.
people just have, the kid's bedroom.
Yeah.
They don't want any toys in the living room. So it's so specific.
Yeah. So that would be a good thing for someone to work with you one on one,
Yeah.
and hire your company. And so you do if you're in the Los Angeles areas, right? So you
Yes.
can people in LA can hire you in person, or virtually. So kind of share how that works, like FaceTime, you show you their stuff, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so obviously we are on Zoom or some sort of video chat. I'm seeing the space, but I'm telling you what to do, and then you are actually doing the work because I'm
Mm-hmm.
physically not there,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But in that, you will also get homework to do in between sessions.
Yeah, of
Because it,
course.
one, it
Keep.
holds you accountable. It keeps the cost down because you're doing part of the work. It also keeps people uh, the motivation, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
as a coach, and I'm teaching them how to do it as well. Because when they
Yeah.
physically do it themselves, as opposed to me doing it, it kind of stays in their memory bank a little bit more. Physical act of them doing it themselves, that it
Mm-hmm.
sticks in their brain more. So it
Mm-hmm.
almost like it's creating a habit for them.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, good. So there's the DIY classes, there's working one on one with you, and then you actually doing the work if they live locally. So how do people find you? What are the best like ways to learn more about your work?
Go to my website,
Hmm.
which is organized to harmonize, and that's the number two. And
Okay.
then I'm also on Instagram, same name, organized to harmonize with the number two as well.
Okay, great. So everyone can find
Yeah.
Robyn
And all the
there.
courses and stuff are listed on the website, so you can see all that information as well.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. I really work hard for people who listen to my podcast to not judge themselves and like don't beat themselves up. And I think it can be really easy to look at our unorganized house and make ourselves wrong for it, or listening to this episode, maybe we're like, oh, I need to get to doing that. And I never want anyone to feel wrong or bad. It's just information. Like maybe
Right.
you're not ready. Maybe you don't have the capacity to make these decisions or to work on this system or to figure this out.
The one really important thing that we didn't talk about or didn't mention earlier is that this is organization truly is how your brain works. It's
Mm.
a brain based modality. So
Mm-hmm.
some people are organized and some people aren't. And a lot of people, like you're saying, do beat themselves up, because they think that they can't do it. We all have our strengths when it comes to our brains. Like, no one should ever feel bad about not being able to stay organized or keep yourself organized. And when you're neurodivergent or have different modalities, it's even harder. It's
Yeah.
more of a challenge. If you struggle with ADHD or depression or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
OCD or any other of a number of modalities. So don't feel that you have to be, that it's easy for everyone and that it has to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
because it's really harder for most people. it's
And that's
it's
what's so
challenging.
valuable, I think, about working with an organizer is you work with someone who helps you set up that system. Because I think that's what you're saying is like that not everybody thinks that way of like of a system and where to put things and how to think about space and how to think about use. And this is your genius zone. And it doesn't mean that we all need to know all of that. We can hire you, we can get help from you, we can take your course and
Right.
learn the basic foundations and the skills that we need in order to implement those systems. And
Right.
and then our job isn't to like create the system, it's just to follow through with it.
Right. And the thing is, too, people sometimes are very hesitant or might be because they're embarrassed. And,
Mm-hmm.
there's no judgment. We are here to help.
Yeah.
All we want to do is make your life easier. We are not here to judge you. We are only here to help. So we are a safe space. I have clients cry. I have clients change clothes in front of me. I have clients that do just about everything. Couples fighting, any and everything can happen. And our only goal is to make your living space more conducive for you to live in.
Yeah. And it's possible, right? No matter what our obstacles are, how many kids we
Absolutely.
have, how busy we are, how messy it is, whether we think like this or not, that there's a path for everybody. And it means getting help, right? And just getting support. And that's what you're here for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for being on the podcast.
You are very welcome. This is so much fun. I love talking about it. So
isn't it fun? It's always so great to talk about the thing that we love. Yeah.
yes,
Good,
absolutely.
good. Well, thank you. I know that for me, having an organized home has made a huge difference in becoming a calm mama, which is the whole point of this podcast. How to live in our family, in our lives, and feel calm. And one of those keys is in our own homes. And so I hope this episode has been helpful and that you all reach out to Robyn and follow her, get her tips, and buy her courses and learn all the things so that you can organize to harmonize.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody. And we will see you next week. Hey, Mama, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, I want to encourage you to do two things. The first is go to my website, calmmamacoaching.com, and get a copy of the Stop Yelling cheat sheet. You'll get a step-by-step breakdown of the most important tool I teach, which is the pause break. And you'll also get 40 ideas to reset your body and balance your nervous system so you don't have to yell at your kids. You can get a copy of that, again, at my website, calmmamacoaching.com/stop yelling. The other thing I'd love for you to do is go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast so that other moms can discover empowering and helpful, practical parenting strategies, just like you did today. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. It means a lot to be in your ear every week and to support you on your parenting journey.